What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Holly, and this is where I talk all things books and reading and coffee. And today I'm actually drinking decaf, which might sound sacrilegious to some of you, but I've had way too much caffeine already this morning, and I do not need to be zooming around like the Tasmanian devil talking too fast. It is the HEB Houston Blend Decaf, and it's really good, decaf or caffeinated. Today I'm hanging out by my fireplace here. I just got it started, so you'll probably see the flames growing as we go throughout this video. It is freezing here in Texas, freezing for us. We typically just get super wet in the winter, and when it gets below freezing, it ices over the roads, and nobody knows how to drive in that here in Texas, so a lot of things get shut down. My office got shut down for a few days, and I don't have to go in till after lunch today. Hopefully the roads have melted and it'll be easy to drive on. But until then, I thought, let's get a video film. Today I have a book haul for you. It's just an assortment of books I've acquired from a number of places, and it's kind of random, but I hope it's fun anyway. Let's jump into it. The first book that I have for y'all today is called Zodiac by Robert Graysmith. This is a nonfiction book about the Zodiac killer. So this was a killer back in the 1970s, I believe, that has never been caught. The back says, he is a sexual sadist. His pleasure was torture and murder. His first victims were a teenage couple stalked and shot dead in a lover's lane. After another slaying, he sent his first mocking note to authorities, promising he would kill more. The official tally of his victims was 6. He claimed 37 dead. The real toll may have reached 50. He was never caught. That's terrifying, that there is this person still out there in the world who's possibly killed 50 people and has never been caught. I don't even know what to think about that, but I am fascinated by true crime type of books. The interesting thing about Robert Graysmith, the author, is that he was on staff with the San Francisco Chronicle, I believe, in 1969 when the first letter from the Zodiac killer showed up. So he has a true first-hand account of what went down. This book is supposed to release a ton of facts that weren't released back at the time, along with actual photographs of the real letters that were being sent from the Zodiac killer. I'm all about it. I cannot wait to get to Zodiac by Robert Graysmith. The next book I have for you is another true crime nonfiction book, and that is We Keep the Dead Close by Becky Cooper. This is actually the February book pick for the True Crime Book Club that I'm in. If you're not familiar with that book club, look up Spookish Mommy on Instagram. The True Crime Book Club is her brainchild. She runs it and organizes it, and this was the February book pick. I'm so excited. I've already started reading it and tabbing a bunch of things, and I've got my little bookmark here. I'm not that far. I'm only 27 pages in. I just started yesterday, but I'm so excited. And while I'm actually looking at my bookmark here, this is the bookmark that I'm using. Is that not so cute? And the back is plaid. It's a bookmark I got from the Autumn Leaf Shop. Check her out on Instagram and on Etsy. She has some of the cutest bookmarks, and I actually got 2 others that I have here with me, so I'll share them now since it's relevant. I have this one that has haunted houses on it, and the back has boo and eek and just some other cute little sayings. And the third one I got is sort of Valentine's Day themed. You have a bunch of red and pink mailboxes that I just thought were cute. The back is a black and white plaid. Yeah, those are some bookmarks that I picked up from the Autumn Leaf Shop. Her stuff is really cute. I know I keep saying the word cute, but I feel like that's how women describe things all the time. Super cute. I don't think I said what this was about. This is about a murder that took place at Harvard back in like the late 1960s. And there was a woman murdered in her apartment, and it was never solved. And essentially the author, Becky Cooper, it took like a decade of her life to investigate this and write this book. And I don't really know if they actually solved the murder. I haven't gotten very far in the book and I haven't looked it up because I'm afraid of spoilers, but it just sounds fascinating. She went to Harvard in like the early 2000s, kind of mid 2000s, and it consumed her life investigating this murder that happened back in the 60s. And there's all these themes of like maybe a professor did it, a professor that actually still teaches at Harvard. So she's definitely playing with fire on some level. It's fascinating, even only 27 pages in. I love it. I'm so glad that the book club picked it. And if you want to join the book club, just like I said, look up Spookish Mommy on Instagram, and she has information on how you can join. So there you have it. That is We Keep the Dead Close by Becky Cooper. Next up, I have some cozy mysteries for you. The first one is On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle. This one I don't know a ton about. All I know is it's a cozy mystery, there's a murder mystery, and it involves a coffee shop. That's all I really need to know. I don't need much more than that. I'm sure I'll love it. I've seen it going around Instagram and people seem to really like it. So there you have it. That is On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle. This next cozy mystery is one that I have already read the first in the series. So this is number 2. It is A Pairing to Die For by Kate Lansing. If you all have been on my channel for any amount of time, you've probably seen me talk about Killer Chardonnay, the first in the series. This is number 2. Again, I don't know a ton about this book other than it continues to follow the characters we're already familiar with from Killer Chardonnay, and it's a cozy mystery, so there's, I'm sure, going to be a murder and some sleuthing, and we'll continue with the Colorado winery setting, so I don't need to know much more than that. I'm in. Next up is a book that I just kind of stumbled upon at my library. I was picking up something completely different and happened to notice Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier on the shelf. I've seen this on Instagram, I think, but I don't know a ton about it other than what the back says. In this book, we're following Angela. She's a popular girl in her high school, and she disappeared without a trace. Nobody knew what became of her. She had 2 really good friends, Georgina and Kaiser, and they don't even know what happened to her. But then 14 years later, after her disappearance, they discovered her remains in the woods near Georgina's childhood home. And Kaiser had become a detective with the Seattle Police Department. He figures out that Angela was a victim of someone named Calvin James. Calvin James was a notorious serial killer. However, Calvin was also Angela's friend Georgina's first love. See how everyone's kind of interconnected here? Apparently they had like a really obsessive type of relationship, and there was just some dark things happening, and we really don't know much more than that. It just says that Georgina carried the secret of Calvin's dark deeds until the evidence landed her in prison. So I guess Georgina knew that Calvin was doing some shady stuff and ended up in prison for it. And the book seems to start out right when Georgina's about to be released from prison, and it says that new bodies start turning up. They were killed in the exact same way that Angela was killed. That's creepy. So basically it says that Georgina, Kaiser, and local law enforcement officials realized that what happened the night Angela disappeared is more complex and chilling than anyone could have imagined. That sounds so interesting, and I did not spoil anything. All of what I just said was on the back of the book. I'm sure this gets twisted and creepy, and if nothing else, pick it up for the cover art. Look at that. I mean, come on. That's just like perfect for Valentine's Day. If you're not really into romance, but you need some kind of, thematic cover, this would be it. So there you have it. That is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. Next up, I have a couple of thrillers for you. The first one is called The Terminalist by Jack Carr. I don't need to talk a whole lot about Jack Carr. I always talk about Jack Carr, but this is the first in his Terminalist series, which the only reason that I acquired it recently is because my mom bought it for me because it's the only one in his series I don't actually own. I own all the others, I just don't own the first one. So she was kind enough to get that for me, and I'm excited to add it to my collection. That is The Terminalist by Jack Carr. This next book is another thriller that I think's been out for a little bit, but it's kind of new to me, so I don't know a ton about it. It's called Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. It looks like it was a Reese's book club pick at some point. Erin is a documentary filmmaker on the brink of a professional breakthrough. Mark, a handsome investment banker with big plans, passionately in love, they embark on a dream honeymoon to the tropical island of Bora Bora, where they enjoy the sun, the sand, and each other. Then, while scuba diving in the crystal blue sea, they find something in the water. I don't know a ton more than that. The back leaves it very vague, but we know it's a thriller. I believe it's actually a psychological thriller, which are some of my absolute favorites. I love mind-twisting puzzles mixed in with my thrillers, so I'm excited to get to Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. And last but not least, I am challenging myself this month, February, the month of love, to read a romance book. I know, typically not my speed. You typically have to mix in some murder, some thriller, something exciting if you're gonna put any romance on me, but I told myself, you're gonna challenge yourself. You're gonna step out of your comfort zone this month and you're gonna pick up a romance book. So I picked up Love in the Time of Serial Killers. I figured if I'm gonna pick up a romance book, it's gotta be a romance book I can get on board with. Serial killers, true crime, romance, I think I can stomach this one. So you're following Phoebe Walsh. She is a PhD candidate who has always been obsessed with true crime. I can relate. She's even analyzing the genre in her dissertation, if she can manage to finish writing it. It's hard to find time when she spends the summer in Florida cleaning out her childhood home, dealing with her obnoxiously good-natured younger brother, and grappling with the complicated feelings of mourning a father she hadn't had a relationship with for years. It doesn't help that she's low-key convinced that her new neighbor, Sam Dennings, is a serial killer. He may dress business casual by day, but at night, he's clearly up to something. It's not long before Phoebe realizes that Sam might be something much scarier, a genuinely nice guy who can pierce her armor to reach her vulnerable heart. So this one actually sounds pretty darn entertaining. I think it's going to be a character that I can relate to. She's a PhD candidate, so obviously a very educated, very well-read woman who is obsessed with true crime and is very skeptical about love and thinks her neighbor is a serial killer, and then I guess some sort of romance maybe blossoms between the two. So that one sounds good. It really does. I'm gonna give it a shot. And if nothing else, the cover art is, fantastic and perfect for February. So there you have Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. Well, that about wraps up my book haul for today. These are the books that I've acquired recently from various places, and it's an assortment of different genres. We've got some nonfiction true crime, some cozy mysteries, thrillers, and a romance book. So I like the variety. I'm excited to see what I get read this month. January was kind of a slow reading month, but I'm hoping this February I can pick up the pace a little bit and get more read off of my TBR. I actually just got back from Houston, Texas, where they have a Barnes & Noble, which I don't have here in my small town. So I did pick up a few books from Barnes & Noble, but I'm going to be sharing those with y'all in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Until then, let me know what books you all have picked up recently and what you're reading this month, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye y'all!